Welcome back to another episode of Jacksonville Buzz's Buzzworthy Businesses. I'm Steve Strum, and right over there, as always, is Dave Permenter. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's always good to be here.
You know, we're talking offset a couple times, according to the producers, just to make sure we had this right. And we were talking a little bit about it being free agency season in professional football. I think I could say that without getting in trouble.
Fair enough.
And we were talking about teams building to win now or to win sustainably. And that kind of leads us into this fine young man that we have here today.
Not to mention something a message the Jags need to keep in mind.
They're on my list. You know.
Okay.
They're they can learn something from our guests.
We're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about Greg Milano, and we're really pleased to have you in the studio with us today. Okay. Greg is the owner of Fortuna Advisors. Tell us a little bit about yourself, about Fortuna Advisors. What do you do?
Sure. We're consultants to mostly very large companies to help them improve the way they manage the business. Many of them have fallen into the trap of worrying too much about quarterly earnings and driving the short term, and we're there to help them think and act more like long-term committed owners.
Thus the book. Curing Corporate Short-Termism.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the book was written to give people kind of a playbook to go with what we do. It takes you through the measures that we use, how people should set goals, how they should plan, how they should allocate capital and other resources in their organization, and how they should pay incentives to motivate the right kind of behavior.
Creating a culture of ownership.
Sustainability, sustainable ownership. So, you know, one of the things that as a small business owner, another small business owner, we're all business owners here, you know, we always want to talk about that long-term value.
Right.
But there's always that conflict, right? Long-term value, pay the electric bill. So how do you help companies kind of understand that? And I know that part of it is also geared to the employees acting as quasi-owners themselves. What is it that you do for companies to help them understand that, you can create long-term value, but you can also pay the electric bill every month as well?
Yeah. Well, one of the traits of an ownership culture is it's not about the short term or the long term. It's always about both. And so, you know, that tension is very important. But we see lots of things that companies do that are well-intentioned, but that actually encourage bad behavior. For example, you're measured against your budget. And as you approach the end of the year, if you're falling short and you're not going to get paid a bonus, you'll do anything you can.
I think the word sandbagging.
Sandbagging is when you're setting up the budget, but then at the end of the year, you'll do things like offer a discount in December to pull January sales into December.
The other way.
You're giving money away to basically, manipulate the financials and produce profits, and that happens in many companies. And there are countless different processes like that. You mentioned sandbagging. Because we measure people against their budget, we're paying them to plan for mediocrity. We're paying them to understate what they think they can do. And when they plan for mediocrity, unfortunately, they often achieve it. And if we have a better way of paying people for true value created, regardless of what their plan says, they're more willing to set stretch goals and really reach for the stars. And that starts to fuel this longer term thinking.
So when somebody's watching this video and they're a business owner and they're sitting there going, man, so curing the corporate short-termism, we'll make sure that people can see it right here. Let me get the angle right so the light's on the camera. So what is this book about? So this is the playbook that the owner of the business or the executive team, if it's a for-profit company with like a board of directors, this is a playbook for them to help connect the dot between that short-term goal, long-term value. So for the person that's watching this, like, what would be the tips and tricks that you would say, hey, you know what, it's probably time to give me a call?
Well, first of all, the measures that people use are often the start of the problem. They use very incomplete measures. People measure revenue growth and EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, and how much investment did it take to produce the revenue? How much investment did it take to produce that EBITDA? They don't even recognize it. We charge for capital, we charge for the cost of investing in the business, so there's this trade-off between, I'm going to invest, well, what am I going to get for it? Just like an owner, exactly the way an owner would think about it. And then once you have better measures, now you want to think about how you plan, how you allocate resources. Allocating in a multi-business company, a company with several different business activities, the allocation of growth resources across those businesses is often one of the biggest problems. They give a lot of money to the worst performers and not enough money to the best performers. They should really stop wasting time on the poor performers and really focus on making their stars as successful as possible.
It's absolutely fantastic. When you kind of think through that, and as that business owner, thinking about my team, going, okay, what is the conversation I just had with the team before I walked onto the set, right? Probably something that, hey, I need to get this done, like this, and that, and then trying to balance that with, oh, hey, by the way, this is where we're trying to go. And sometimes I'm so far in the weeds, as you are in your business, that you can't see the forest from the tree. I know that's cliche, but how do you help that business owner really get that step back, go, aha, I get it? Because as you're talking, I'm thinking of all these different things that you can experience, and like you can say, hey, little tweak here, little tweak there. How do you get that owner to have that aha moment?
There are lots of ways to do it, but one of the most important is getting them to think about where I want to get to and worrying less about how they get there. Where do I want to be in 3 years? I want to be of this size, this market share, this penetration into a new market, whatever the goals are. Start with that, and then the steps you need to take will logically get you there. If you don't start with that and you only start with a quarterly or an annual plan, far too many people just extrapolate from the past. They stop thinking about trying to set really aspirational goals and getting to a new place.
And you have a second book. Can we talk about it? Or
Sure.
Is this a surprise?
No, it's coming out later this year. It's mostly written now, going into editing, and it's called Act Like You Own the Place, and it's all about culture and behavior and getting people to think and act like long-term committed owners.
How do you feel as a long-term committed owner? Hearing that.
Well, I would like to say, in my company, Generation Media, we are very aspirational in our goals, and we are goal setters and then determine the way to get there. So everything you're saying resonates with me very well. It also kind of justifies my leadership, let's say. I'm glad to hear the things you're saying.
So I'm going to go with about 50-50 for me. Like my team watches this video, 50%, they're like, got the vision. And then the other 50 is like, all right, well, Steve's in trouble for this, and this.
Well, your team is probably a lot bigger than mine. Mine is small enough that we're all together on the same page.
I literally get bossed around by my team all day long. I actually have an open forum, as we take this away, that you'll appreciate, on Mondays for about 6 hours, that they basically have the ability to tell me everything I've done wrong. And I accept it. I mean, there's a laundry list anyway. So, but for people that are watching this, right? So as we take it away, there's probably so much we can talk about, right? I mean, you've got a book, another book, A Successful Business, helping other business owners be successful and their employees. We'll make sure to put all of your stuff on our website, which is thedailynewsnetwork.com. People can come check you out. Click on it, find out more. As we take it away, if that business owner is listening going, yeah, I'm the 50-50 guy like Steve, not perfect like Dave over there. What's that one thing that you would tell them to do, besides call you, of course?
Yeah, well, call me. I would say the most important thing is to get people to stop manipulating the short term. And identify it, see it happen. If you start paying attention in meetings to what people say and how they say it, you'll start noticing how they bias the short term over the long term, and you'll start to see where they're leaving money on the table by trying to produce too much in the short term without enough worrying about the long term.
That's fantastic. Awesome. And that's added value for me. I'm even thinking about my day going, yep, I probably could have done that one better.
Yeah,
so,
me too.
As we roll it out, thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us. Dave, I mean, always good. It's weird seeing you over there, not over here, but we're okay with that. But we can't do any of this without these guys, right?
That's right.
We might add some value. You added a lot of value. Hopefully we completed a sentence, which is good. But these guys over here are the ones that add the value. So, if you like this episode, if you're a business owner or know a business owner that this gentleman here may be valuable for, click share on the little link below. Remember, always live with gratitude and focus on that long-term value. See y'all next time.
Our mission at Generation Media is to build positive word of mouth for our clients and the audiences that we serve. We hyper-target the most affluent audiences and focus our clients' marketing dollars right where they need to be with little to no waste. I'm David Permenter, founder and president of Generation Media, and we would love to have a short discovery call with you by phone or Zoom to see if we can help you reach your ideal clients.